Welcome back to Talkin' Shop with ShopSabre. I'm Brandon, back with Chad and Jesse today. How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
What's going on, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? We don't have Garrett today, guys. He's out sick.
He's sick?
Yeah.
Where's the clapping button?
I know. I'm trying to find that button, but the problem is, see, I have to do multiple things. No, we can do it. Here it is. There we go. Got it. Nailed it. You know what? This thing's a lot harder to run now that it's all sophisticated.
Now you have to do two
I
things
think
at once.
you'll still do a good job. You'll still do a good job. Sure of it.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
I'm just saying that's what my thought is on that. I don't think I'm going to do a very good job
hate
of
that
this.
one.
I like that one.
I hate it.
It's all right. You'll get over it.
I am. I'm already over it.
Good.
What are we talking about today?
Well, I think today I'd like to talk a little bit about what's your excuse?
I don't have one.
Well, what is it?
I don't have one.
You have to have something.
I don't have any excuses. Excuses are for losers, sir.
Yeah, I do like that. No excuses. But yeah, I know last week we talked a little bit about what innovative management. Geez, it took me a second to remember what we even talked about. But innovative management and encouraging people to look at their management style. So in terms of encouraging, I encourage you to go listen to that one if you have not already listened to that episode. But today's episode, like I said, I thought we'd talk a little bit about what your excuse is now. That's the title of what I've called today. It's really going to be about people and excuses and making up reasons why they don't do things. And in this world, it seems like it's a lot easier to make excuses on why you don't want to do something than it is to find motivation to just do it.
True story.
Yeah. So, but before we jump into that, what did you guys do this weekend? Anything fun?
What about you, Jesse?
Dude, I went to the Tennessee State Fair on Saturday with the boys.
Is it anything like the
was-
Minnesota State Fair?
You know what, man? Honestly, it's like a happy medium in between like a big county fair and the state fair. It was actually pretty cool. Like there wasn't a billion people, like 150,000 people were there, and they had just a ton of stuff, but they spread it out really well. So it's a pretty cool place. Not as many cool things as Minnesota State Fair for sure. Minnesota State Fair is still probably, leaps and bounds ahead, but pretty cool place. And then Sunday we cut down a ton of trees and did some yard work. That was about it. I know that's what I said. It was horrible. I don't know why we did it.
Yeah, that sounds
I'm not
terrible.
cut out for that stuff.
Yeah, that's
I'm
terrible.
a salesman, not a yard man.
Well, there is that. But what about you, Chad? What'd you do?
I hung around the house mostly. I didn't feel very well, so I didn't go golfing or anything.
You didn't golf at all?
Nope, took the week off.
Dude, that's going to hurt your chances of the LIV.
Yeah, I don't know how he's going to make the live tour anymore.
I had to let my shoulder build
No.
muscle back up,
Man, really, that's it's not good. I don't know if I can handle that. Hey, Garrett, what did you do?
Really gonna...
I'll just have 4 to 5 beers to stop the shaking, and then I'll go outside.
Oh, yeah? Well, that's good.
That's about right. That's about right.
Yeah, he's sick, so he came in Monday morning, did not look good, and I was like, you should go home. He went home. Not feeling very good today. So today we're running this thing without him. But yeah, that was Garrett's weekend. But for me, I bought a new race car. That's what I did.
What'd you buy?
We bought a super stock now, so we're gonna try to drive in a different style of race car. So we got it on Friday night, and then it rained here in Minnesota on Friday night, so we didn't get to race on Friday night. So I went and looked at this car, and it was a guy getting out. He had to sell out, so he was fire selling things. So I bought it, and I decided that, let's not take our time. Let's jump into this just full-fledged. Let's not do this any other way. And so I bought the car and immediately drove it to my buddy's house so he could race it the next night. Didn't want to jump into this thing, too softly. So we brought it up there, and he drove it Saturday night and won the race with it.
Hopefully you can do the same now.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Let's see how aerodynamic this one is.
It's pretty aerodynamic. This one's pretty awesome. He won it by like a half a lap.
Yeah, it looked really fast.
You might actually clear the fence this time instead of ending up in it.
This one looks like an airplane for sure. Yeah, this one, if it goes airborne, I'm a little bit more nervous.
Okay.
But, yeah, it was pretty sweet.
Awesome.
So that was my weekend.
Videos.
Yeah, stay tuned. There'll be more to come. But yeah, no, we had a good weekend. Like I said, it was pretty fun to do that. And my boys and I hung out at the racetrack and got to cheer on somebody else driving one of our cars. So that was kind of a good time. And yeah, we're just going to baby step our way into this as far as me driving it. I'm going to have my buddy drive it for a few more weeks. It's kind of his deal. He's really good with that stuff. So I figured he can tune the car in. And yeah, we were just going to have fun as a family, as we finish out the summer.
Hey, Chad, did Brandon ask you if you wanted to drive that car?
He said I wouldn't fit in this one either.
Oh. No. Same excuses.
He just knows how much faster I would be.
That's actually the truth. It's actually the truth. I do know that.
He sees me pulling it out of the parking lot. He knows how fast I drive.
Shut up a minute.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So let's kick off today's episode. Like I said, I want to talk about what your excuse is now. I thought it would be fun to talk about excuses and the millions of reasons why people don't or cannot do something, right? I mean, how many times do we hear that? I can't do it, or I don't do that, or I'm not going to do it. But it seems like when things get tough, the excuses start flying, and the reasons why, generally can be a wide range of things, right? I mean, the reasons people come up with some pretty unique reasons why they can't do something rather than spending the same amount of energy on just figuring out how to do it.
I agree.
That's very true.
Right?
Very true.
Like, it's kind of mind-boggling to me that people can literally come up with a million excuses on why they shouldn't do something when literally in half the time they could come up with the actual solution to the problem. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I guess let's start off there, guys. I mean, what do you guys think about when you hear excuses? Chad? No?
Excuses? I think of
what is the question again? He was sitting over there. He's just like,
I think excuses are like assholes. Everyone has one.
I like it. That's awesome. That's a solid statement. I like it. Well, good luck topping that one, Jesse. What do you got to say?
Yeah, I was going to say you threw out the asshole word. Yeah, I don't know how much top that, but when I think of excuses as someone that's trying not to hurt your feelings or doesn't have the gumption to tell you no, right? Doesn't have the chances to say no, I'm not buying or I'm not doing that. They come up with a reason, right?
Yeah, I personally think that a person giving me the excuse doesn't care about what they're talking about. Like what we're talking about in general, like whatever we're coming up with, like they just don't care about it enough. They don't want to look for a solution. It's easier to walk away from it. An excuse. And I say that in a way of like, if you're making plans with somebody, right? And I might have to take the dog out that night. Like, well, you probably don't want to go out that night. Just say that, like I get it. Or, hey, we're not going to buy that because we might do that. Like you just don't want to buy that. Right. So, famous, words of my father to me when I was growing up, and I love it, is he used to say to me whenever I'd start coming up with excuses for something, he'd say, I don't want excuses, I want solutions. And, solutions are a signs of effort and excuses are a sign of avoidance. In my opinion, that's really where it comes down to, is if you're going to put the effort in, you'll find a solution. Right?
I agree. That's a really
very
good
true
statement.
And it really,
yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, my dad has said it to me more times than I'd like to admit as a kid, was I don't want excuses, I want solutions. And it was everything we did. God, I'll tell you what, if you ask my brothers, they'll all agree. Like, that's the one thing that sticks in our head from him is, he would always throw out I want solutions, and it's like, so now, but it's kind of instilled that in us. So like, we don't even come up with excuses anymore. Like, I don't waste my time coming up with an excuse. Like, I'm just going to find the solution because he's going to make me find it regardless. I'm just going to waste time on trying to find the excuse first,
Sounds like good life lessons.
It is. I mean, honestly, it was a good life lesson that I got from the old JB. But really, what is an excuse? Let's go there. It's an attempt to lessen the blame, attaching to something, so fault or offense, and to seek to defend or justify. Right? So essentially, it's a way to remove yourself from responsibility or liability. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So commitment, a lot of times is what it is. People are trying to come up with an excuse to get themselves out of commitment. When it comes to your life or your business, you have a choice to own it or excuse it, right?
Yep.
That's your two choices, really. I mean, anything that happens in your life, You either own it or excuse it. And, let's talk about some of the common excuses in business. I mean, I think let's go there. That's what we like to talk about on the show, right? We like to talk about business and how different things affect you and affect, business and the way we do business and our jobs. And hopefully people who are listening are like, hey, that makes sense for my job too, But, my favorite one, and I'm going to start it off and I'll let you guys throw some of these in there. But, mine is I don't have time. That's like my favorite one that people throw out is I don't have time means I don't care enough, right? Because there's 24 hours in a day. How many times have I said this? There's 24 hours in a day, and you can use every one of them. And if you go to work for 8 hours a day and put your effort into your job, but you can't go home and put some more effort into your own success, then you just don't care. Or you're content.
I agree with that.
Right?
For sure. For sure.
I think when you look at it, like you guys are a perfect example of this. Like you guys come to work 8 hours a day, right?
Most days.
Most days you're here 8 hours a day. Okay. Most days he's here 8 hours a day. So congratulations on that. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
But really when when it hits 5 o'clock, do you guys just quit and give up?
No.
Jesse, do you quit and give up at 5 o'clock?
No.
Okay. And let me just go a little bit further here. Cause Jesse, you're 1,800 miles from me, right?
910.
Okay, close enough. 1,800 miles if I drive there and back. If
Good math.
When you look at this, it'd be really easy for you at 5 o'clock just to give up, right?
Oh, for sure.
Because really, who's going to stop you, right? But
nobody.
Yeah,
well, that's not true. I do live with Brianna. Keep that in mind.
This is true. She's probably in the background right now.
She tells me when I can start and when I can stop. Settle down, Bree. Gosh, go get an apple and some water, some hay.
Oh, man. But in all seriousness, though, the efforts that you guys put in after 5 are for your success. And I think that's the difference in a successful sales guy versus a non-successful sales guy. A non-successful sales guy calls it a day as soon as he can, right? Looks for an excuse to get out of work, right?
Yep.
I don't want to do any more work. I don't need to do any more work, right? I just got a text message from Brianna, and it says, "I hate you."
I was just gonna say, read your text messages because it just popped up on my watch. That's why I started laughing.
Yep, mine as well. I got a text
message. I hope you know that if I don't answer my phone tomorrow when you call, you should do a welfare check.
Well, we will probably have to do that. I'm not gonna lie to
you. There is a chance.
Oh, but yeah, it's in all seriousness though, I mean, it's one of those things where you have to find a reason to do it, right? And it blows me away that people will put so much time and effort into other things in their life. And my dad pointed this out to me when I was really young, and it's really stuck and resonated with me. He said to me, think about it. You can go, and actually pointed it out at an auto parts store one time to me. So let me tell you the story. Me and my dad walked into an auto parts store, and he had to buy, I don't remember what it was. My dad used to race cars too. He used to race circle track cars. We were buying something for his race car. And he walked in and he asked the guy something about the car part that he's looking for, right? And the guy didn't have a clue. Just couldn't name anything, right? And my dad's like, okay. So my dad asked a couple more questions. Nothing was come of it. So then my dad's like, all right, well, thanks for your time. I'll go look. And we started walking around the store looking at things. And then you hear this guy behind the counter immediately. This is the guy that couldn't help my dad with his auto part question. Start talking to his other coworker, right? And obviously they're talking loud. You can hear them. And they start talking about football. And the guy immediately starts rattling off statistical stats about this said football team. I don't even remember what team it was. I don't remember who the player was. But the guy could tell you everything, right? He's telling you what the completion percentage was. I just remember him rambling this off. And my dad pulls me aside. At that moment, pulls me aside. He's like, look at that guy. He's like, he could tell you everything you need to know about that football team. He goes, but he couldn't tell me how to do his own job. And he pointed that out to me. And I'm like, wow, and my dad's like, in all seriousness, if that guy would spend half the effort that he spends in that understanding that football team and what he does, he'd be really good at what he does. And it hit me at that moment that there's two things. One, that guy didn't care about his job, right? I mean, now that I'm older, I realize he probably didn't care, right? I don't even remember how old the kid was, but he probably was like, hey, I'm just trying to make enough money to go have a beer, right? Yeah. I don't really care. But realistically, I mean, let's be honest. That's probably what he was doing, right? He was looking for beer money and he doesn't care, right?
Exactly.
That's it. But the reality of where you're at, though, is like my dad makes a good point there, though. How many people in life could tell you everything they want to know about their hobby, right? I mean, they could tell you about their, me, racing. I could tell you a lot about race cars. Chad, you could probably tell me a lot about golf, right?
Yep.
Jesse, you could probably tell me a lot about being equestrian. But,
Guns.
Oh, guns. That's right. That's right. Sorry.
I can tell you how to maintain your horse, no doubt about it.
But no, yeah, it's, but seriously, like with all of us in our hobbies, like you can tell us a lot about it. But if you can't tell me equally about your job, then you're not putting your efforts where they need to be. Right?
Or you're just not going to be successful.
Because you're not going to spend the time. I don't have the time, right?
Yep.
I don't have the time. I'm so busy. You're not too busy about things you care about, ever. You find time to watch sports, right? You find time to go work on your race car, right? You find time to go golf, but you can't find time to do stuff you need to at work. Like with us, and how many times have you guys seen it? I mean, I'm here at 5, 6 in the morning, some mornings, to get things done. I stay till 9, 10 o'clock at night some nights. I mean, I'll come in on the weekends. I do what I have to do when work has to come first. And I think anybody listening, if you don't say the same thing, then you're not making the time for the things that are important to you, right? And I think a lot of people think that, and I get it, we all have to, have a life still, right? But it's that balance. Some weeks your life takes the backseat to what you have to do at work so you can have the life you want the next week, right?
Yep.
And I'm one of those guys that like I balance out stuff in my life. Like I know that, okay, next week I have this coming up, right? Or in 2 weeks I have this coming up. So I know I have to work a little harder the week prior so I can get ahead versus people who just wait till it happens and, I'm going to leave and now I'm behind, right? And now I have to play catch up and now I'm, my customers get hurt. That's just not who we are.
Yep.
And, I always just ask people, when people tell me they don't have time to do something, they can't go home and put the effort in, or they can't work later, they can't do something. I just simply ask a couple questions. Do you watch TV? If they say yes to that question, then you have time. Or do you go to the bar? Are you going out to dinner? Like, are you going to a ball game, a concert? What are you doing? Then you have time. It's just not a priority to you. And that's fine. Like, but don't tell me you don't have time. Tell me it's not a priority. Tell me that answer.
Yep.
It's not a priority for me at this time. That's the truth, not your excuse of I don't have time. We all have time to do everything we want to do, right?
Yep.
I don't think people are willing to say that. This is not a priority to me. They don't want that, they don't want that stigma like, hey, this really doesn't matter to him. Why are we doing this?
I have a lot more respect for somebody who tells me it's not prioritized to them. Because guess what? I know them not to make you a priority than for me.
Exactly.
Like I have to make my schedule all day long, and I'm making you a priority so I can follow up with you or I can reach out to you. Tell me I'm not a priority to you so I can stop prioritizing you in my life. Right?
Yep. That's a really good point.
It won't work. That's another one that you hear, right? It's followed up by I don't have time as it won't work, right? How do you know it's not going to work if you haven't tried it, right? If you have not done it, you don't know that it's not going to work. You're just assuming, right? But it is right. Again, there's a phrase that I've used in my life that it's better to have tried and failed than to fail to try. I'd rather fail at trying something than to have never tried to do it.
Yep. I don't think you're going to try to do anything the first time and be good at it. You're going to have to
correct
fail. Failure is a part of growth.
Yeah. Stop creating failure points before you've even explored them, though. Like, I agree with you. You have to, failing your way to success, essentially, right? Yeah. Is it not, right?
I've heard that before.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's, there's so many ways that people, can use, failure to success. You try to understand, what did you do or what would you do differently the next time, right?
Yep.
It's just your first attempt, right?
Yep.
That's really what a failure is your first attempt. And then you move on to the next attempt.
And you keep going.
Keep going. It's only failure when you quit.
Exactly.
Right?
Yep.
Failure only exists when you quit. Don't quit. Don't give up.
Don't make excuses.
Don't make excuses. Exactly. What's another common excuse that you guys hear?
I hear it's too expensive.
It's too expensive. God, I hate that one too, right? Expense is what you make it. Like, if you're going to say it's too expensive, first off, I'm going to ask you, have you explored alternative options yet? Because that's my favorite. You talk to people. It's too expensive. But they've not talked to anybody else about what they're... I had a buddy of mine doing landscaping in his house, right? I was at his house. We were sitting there, and a guy come over, did a bid on his house. Guy walked up to him and was like, you know, I think it was what, $8,500, I think is what he told my buddy. $8,500 to do his new fire pit thing and whatever he was doing. And I'm looking at, like, I'm telling you, like, he's got a pretty nice place. And I'm looking at him, I'm like, man, that's a pretty good price. And he's straight up, like, immediately guy gives him the bid and he looks him right in the eyes and he's like, that's too expensive. And I was like, and I was probably the worst friend. You know how you're supposed to like back your friend and be like, yeah, too expensive. And I was like, dude, what do you mean that's too expensive? Like, that seems like a good deal. Like that guy was probably like, yeah, keep talking.
Go friend.
Yeah. But I was like, dude, look how much work you have to do back there. And then he was, you know, he kept going back and forth on it. And eventually the guy left. And then he, you know, obviously he did give me some crap. He's like, dude, you're not supposed to agree with them. I'm like, dude, I'm telling you, you're getting a good deal. I'm like, have you explored anything else? He's like, I have a couple more people coming out. Well, this is a couple weeks ago. The next closest bid he got was $12,000.
Jeez.
Guess what? $8,500 doesn't look like such a bad deal anymore, does it? So yeah, that guy's doing it now. He hired that guy, and the work's, you know, turning out pretty good. I mean, it looks nice. Is it as good as the guy probably would have been $12,000? Probably not. I mean, the materials are cheaper and things like that, but it looks a lot better than it did right now. I'll tell you that much. He's selling a house, so he's trying to, you know, obviously
make it nice.
Yeah, make it nice so he can sell it. But nevertheless, I mean, my point comes back to is if you say it's too expensive, make sure that you actually know it's too expensive. Compare it to what you're getting of equal value, you know? And that's something that I think people, you know, miss is that, you know, have you spoken with someone professionally about what options may exist? Or are you just assuming it's too expensive because you're an expert, right? Everybody's an expert. Everybody knows everything, right? No, sometimes you have to actually talk to the experts in the industry of whatever you're looking at and find out what is real cost.
And understanding differences.
Correct.
If there's cost differences, there's reasons for it.
Well, let's go there. You know, my personal favorite, right, is when a client requests a quote on a top-of-the-line machine, right?
Yep.
Top-of-the-line machine, and then they say, you're too expensive. I'm going with so-and-so's brand, right? A lesser brand, whatever it is. Instead of saying, like, hey, it appears to be out of my budget, you know, what do you have in this price range? You know, tell me what you're looking to spend. No, you just jump to the conclusion of, it's too expensive. Like, many times, you know, companies offer services or products with a wide range of budgets in mind, right? I mean, ShopSabre is no different than any other company. We have our RC models all the way up to our ISM models, right?
Yep.
When you look at really, we have our 23 too, so I shouldn't take that away. We have a 23 all the way up to the IS. But let's say from a 4x8 machine, right? We go from RC up. So you're looking at, you know, one budget. Well, there's a reason why I have different level machines. I don't build multiple different products because they all do the same thing.
And they all cost you the same to build.
Correct. Like every one of them have a different advantage to the consumer. And I'm not going to build more than I have to either. Like, let's be honest. No business wants to make their life harder. I build more products because I need to give more variety to the customer to expand their capabilities, right?
Right.
And so many times when companies offer these services or products for a wide range of budgets, it's because they're trying to give you, you know, good, better, best kind of a scenario, right?
Yep.
Share with them your budget. They're going to fit something that fits your budget. Don't play the game. You know, I don't know where people still think like, oh, if I don't tell them what I want to spend, I'm going to get a better deal. No, you're going to get a worse deal. I promise you. Because if you tell me what you want to spend, I can maximize your dollar. If I know you only have a shoebox full of $35,000 to spend, I'm not going to try to sell you a $45,000 machine.
Yep.
I'm going to try to get you the best product I can get you for $35,000. Other than
makes a lot of sense.
But if you don't tell me that, I'm going to quote you the 45 or the 50 because of what you told me, right? Now, you know what we're going to do? We're going to back our way into $35,000. And what we're going to do, we're going to keep taking out options and keep doing stuff. And eventually you end up with a scaled back solution versus let's start below 35 and work our way into it, right?
Yep.
This is what you can add. This is what you can do and show you why you have features and benefits versus trying to take things away all the time. Like, I just feel like you can get so much further in life if you just communicate with people. You know?
I agree.
You know, like I said, you can't have the attitude that, oh, it's too expensive and just give up. It's like the number one thing that pisses me off when a guy is like, I've spent all that time talking to him on the phone, put quotes together for him, and then instantly the instant answer back is, oh, it's just too expensive, or you're too much, or you're too expensive. Like, where did you come up with that conclusion? Like, how did you come to the conclusion that I'm just too expensive? You tell me that, you know?
So frustrating. So frustrating.
And then, really, from there, you know, the one thing I always say is quitters don't win and winners don't quit, right?
It's another good sign.
Yeah, but you can't quit on it. Like, oh, I gave up on the idea because it's too much money. No. Let's find a solution. Let's find something. Get rid of your excuse. Take that, throw it out. Let's come up with a reason how we can make this work. If you want it bad enough. Otherwise, just tell me you didn't want it bad enough. Tell me you made a mistake. Tell me you were drinking with your buddies on Saturday night when you came up with this idea and you are no longer interested. Tell me that. But don't tell me that it's too expensive, you know?
I think we've gotten that excuse before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We get it a lot, you know? We get people who tell us, oh, you're talking about the drinking excuse.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
Yeah.
I got that one
like
time.
2 in the morning.
Yeah, so funny. I'm sorry, I misunderstood what you said. Yes, that excuse is hilarious.
Dude, remember that time the guy yelled at me because he filled it out drunk and I called him the next day?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Remember that one?
Yeah, I do remember that. He was so mad at you for calling him. He didn't know why you were calling him. You're like, you filled out this form. Oh, man. It was pretty funny. But it's, I find more humor in that, though, when a guy's just honest with me. Rather than stringing him along, like, dude, I was drunk and I shouldn't have filled that form out. Needless to say.
It was so funny. And those people end up becoming really good customers. Yeah, guy ended up buying and we had a great conversation. Like, thanks for telling me the truth. Like, we can start off at a much better place now.
Yeah. Well, it's better for everybody because, there are cases, and for me, in my marketing, you know what I've done? I've started to try to, tailor my marketing around times that aren't good, right? Bar hours, But, what's another excuse we come up with, what we hear of? Obviously, beyond it's too expensive. Jesse, what's one that you hear?
It's too hard.
It's too hard. Yeah.
It's too hard.
Well, good things don't come easy, right?
No, you have to work for them.
Well, if they did, wouldn't everybody have them then? Right?
That's very true.
If it's easy,
Right.
everybody's doing it.
Right?
Winning is the result of what is this? The winning is the result of many small, unrecognized efforts, right?
I like that.
Yeah, it's unrecognized efforts that are compiled together to achieve a goal. Yeah, there's 1% of people out there who are going to achieve greatness by just straight luck, right? They're going to fall into it.
Like me.
Like you, like Chad in the Live tour. But in all seriousness, though, is to achieve greatness, the majority of people success comes from putting in the effort behind the scenes, where nobody else is looking. Right? It's too hard means you don't want it bad enough, is what I hear. If you did, you'd be working on it, not talking about it.
Exactly.
I've always said that. Those who are willing to do the work won't talk about it. They're just going to do the work behind the scenes. They're going to do it and do it and do it. And eventually you're going to go, look how lucky he is. Look at him. Like, no, while you were sitting over there watching everybody else, he was working. It's something that I see in racing, that you get these guys that they see you win races and they assume that, you hear it from people. Oh, that guy's cheating. So-and-so is cheating. That guy's cheating. Because that's the only way you can win, right? You have to cheat. No, maybe the guy just outworked you all week long and kicked your ass. Like, let's just own it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
Instead of talking about him, why don't you go back to your shop and work harder?
Well, that's just them making an excuse so they feel better about themselves, right?
Correct. Yeah.
You need to be more about doing and less about talking.
Yeah, it makes sense to actually do that. But hey, some people don't know how to do that, right?
Other weaknesses, we're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners.
You have to remember that. Like, sometimes it is a matter of like putting the work in. Stop making it harder than it has to be. You say it's too hard, but it's because you make it hard. You look for every excuse on why you can't do it. So you make it harder than it is, rather than just looking at the few things you should do that will make it successful.
Right.
Like, they take the hard road, right? I was that guy.
The road blockers. That's what I call those people, road blockers. Every solution you come up with, they throw up a roadblock.
Yep. Well, let me tell you a little story.
Something for a reason it won't work.
Let me tell you a J-bomb story here.
Another JB story?
The JB story. So, growing up being JB's son, I was obviously smarter than him when I was younger.
It's a really good thing he doesn't listen to the podcast.
I hope
I was
he
about
does.
to say, hopefully he doesn't listen.
I hope he does. Because obviously when I was younger than him, I was smarter than him. That's why I, back-talked him and obviously had better ideas than him. But the reality is, okay, I don't remember what we were doing. We were doing something at my dad's house. And my dad told me I needed to go pull. We had this, like, I call it the rock garden, right? It was like a big area with rocks, right? And my dad was like, you need to go pull the weeds out of there. It's starting to look kind of bad. He's like, you should go pull the weeds. And I was like, all right. So I went out there and started pulling weeds. And then I realized, like, this is stupid. I don't want to pull weeds anymore. I'm smarter than you, Dad. I'm the smartest man alive. Watch this. So I walked inside and I said, Dad, this is stupid. And he was like, oh, really? I'm listening. I'm like, why would I pull all the weeds by hand? It would just be so much faster to pull the rock out, then get rid of the weeds without having to pull them between the rocks and then put the rocks back in. And my dad, without missing a beat, like straight as an arrow, goes, all right, yeah, let's do that. I'm like, got him. Got him. Dad admits it. I'm smarter. He goes, get started on that. 3.5 weeks later, I had all the rock out of there. My back hurt. And the rocks were laying in the driveway. And he goes, I pull all the weeds out. And I'm like, oh, okay, I got to put it back in. He goes, you ain't just putting the rocks back in. So what do you mean I'm not just putting the rocks back in? He's like, well, now they're all dirty. The rocks can't be dirty in there. It's going to look stupid. He's like, now you have to wash the rocks. Son of a... 2.5 weeks later, the rocks were all back in. So my 1 weekend pulling weeds turned into about 5 weeks of sweat labor.
I'm sure it looked a lot nicer.
It looked great when we were done, but old JB lost a lot of respect from me. Nice, Dad. Thanks. Way to go.
Every day there's just 10 more rocks on the driveway.
Oh, it was, I don't know. Maybe he may have done, now that you say that, he may have actually ordered
just
it.
Just got you and Chris out in the driveway, chained to each other, a little chain gang.
Chris,
you were an inmate most of your life, weren't you?
Why was Chris allowed to be with me? No, Dad made you learn your lessons alone. The other siblings got to watch you learn your lesson. Like they were loving it. They were over there just excited. They just wanted you. Your siblings, my siblings were on the deck or on the porch just cheering for my dad. Like they thought he was the greatest thing that ever happened when he would do that. Yeah, keep getting Brandon. This is good.
You like that? You like that?
I'm over there sweating, dying. But like I said, my dad was really good at teaching lessons. And that was a lesson I learned that like, hey, sometimes you got to work smarter, not harder, right? Don't think that you're going to reinvent the wheel and make things better because guess what? Instead of a weekend's worth of labor and chores, I lost 5 weeks of my life. To this day, I'll never get those 5 weeks back.
That's crazy. So
that's just one of those JB stories for you. But, another one that you do see is I can't figure it out, right? It's a sign of laziness. You can't figure it out, so you're just going to quit.
Yeah, and in today's world with all the resources we have.
Yeah, find resources.
Google.
Weird. I've never heard of that.
ShopSabre.com.
ShopSabre.com. I like that one.
My favorite TikTok.
What's that?
TikTok. You can learn anything on TikTok.
Oh, I thought you were saying your favorite. I was waiting for what's your favorite TikTok? Oh, just TikTok in general.
No, yeah, it's my favorite place to learn stuff.
You know what my favorite thing about TikTok is?
What's that?
ShopSabre.com.
That's my favorite.
Mine too.
But, YouTube. Obviously, TikTok has kind of taken over, but YouTube's still a great place to learn some things for a little longer videos. Or you know what you could do? I know it's kind of crazy. You could talk to people.
Ask people that do it.
Yeah, like, hey, what's up? You know what's going on here? Because I don't. That's how I figure everything out. I ask people. I'm not afraid to ask people. When I don't know what I'm doing, I just ask. Somewhere someone knows the answer to your question or your problem, right? They either offer a service that will help you, or they can help you better your ability by teaching you, right?
Yep.
So go seek the information you need and understand the issue. Stop saying you can't figure it out. Like, oh, this microphone doesn't work. Guess we're just not going to make any calls today.
Well, this microphone won't fix itself.
It's not going to fix itself, that's for sure. Wait,
time to get a new one.
Get a new one. Let's buy a new one because this one's broken. Or just plug it in. Weird. Here's my other favorite. One of the last ones I'll leave you with. Someone else does it already.
Yeah.
Right?
That's a great one. Yeah.
Well, Ford's building cars. Chevy, you might as well give up.
Taco Bell's making tacos.
Taco Bell's making tacos. Stop giving your competition credit. Like, straight up. Like, you're giving your competition credit. Look at what you can offer that they're not. What are you doing, or find a reason you should do the work, or find a reason why you can do the work better, right? Right?
Right.
Is that not a good idea? Like, let's find a reason we should do the work, not a reason why we shouldn't do the work.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Well, the car wash is already open down the street. Might as well not wash my car today. What? What? Makes no sense. Any other excuses that you guys can think of?
I think we covered.
I think you nailed. Yeah, I think you nailed the most common ones.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm sure somebody is screaming at the radio right now. Like, you didn't talk about this one. Like, you're probably right. I forgot one. But, I believe confidently a lot of failure happens because people want it to fail. I'm quite confident in that. They don't want to put the effort in because they think walking away is easier than working harder. But the reality is, like, you're going to walk away and then you have to go find something else to do anyways, right?
Exactly.
So you're not making it easier. You're just now starting over.
Finding different problems.
True.
Trying to find something that's a little easier. Yeah, well, good luck. Keep searching. Everybody's been trying to find that one forever. Right?
Yep.
You see
if you
guys
find it, let us know.
Yeah, I mean, well, people leave jobs, right? That's my favorite. Like, people work at a job for 10 years, 5 years. Let's go even that. And then they up and quit because I need something different, or I want to do something different. And it's just a circle of starting over. Like, you're going to do the same thing in 5 years then, because you're just going to get bored again, and you're going to get bored again. Like, if you get bored at your job, it means you're not pushing yourself. Like, I have never, in the whole time I've been here at ShopSabre, I have never gotten bored. I've had days where I'm like, man, today kicked my butt, right? We all go through those moments where things kick our butt. But the reality is, like, every job I've ever had in my life, I've had those days. I've had people at every job that I didn't like, right? I've had things at every job that I didn't like to do. Like, it's not going to change by just changing jobs. I don't care. You could talk to, I'm going to guarantee it, and I can't speak, firsthand on this because I'm not friends with them, but I'm going to bet that if you talk to Elon Musk, there's things about his own job he doesn't like, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and the guy has success, fame, money. He has everything, right? That everybody wants. But I can guarantee you there's things he does not like to do that he has to do on a daily or weekly or a monthly. Yep. Like, there's things that you're going to find in every job that are going to push you to your limits. And to me, that's better. I want a job that challenges me daily, makes me better. Because my goal every single day is to be better than I was the day before. In everything I do, as a person, as a dad, as a husband, as a friend, as a race car driver, as an amateur golfer. I mean, anything you do, I hope you push yourself to that limit. I hope you push yourself outside of your comfort zone. Because comfort is where everybody likes to hang out because it's easy. When you push yourself out of comfort, you become better. And that means sometimes you're going to fail. That means you're going to do things that didn't work. But as long as you always push yourself, you're always going to find success eventually.
Yep.
Right?
You're going to grow and become a better person as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think all aspects of your life will get better, right?
I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I think, many people become the results of their excuses. Right?
Oh, yes. For sure.
ShopSabre.com. But, they don't get what they want out of life because they're always pointing at failures. That's really what it comes down to, right? They're pointing out excuses. So stop focusing on the negativity. That's the one thing I'm going to tell you right now. We all have it in our lives. I'll tell you that much right now. Every single person you cross paths with has something negative going on in their life. Your problem is not bigger than their problem. I promise you, most people have bigger problems than you.
Yep.
There are people that, no matter how bad your problem is, I want you to remember this, okay? No matter how bad your problem is in life, no matter how bad it is, somebody has it worse. Simple as that.
Yep, absolutely.
Like, somebody has it worse than you. So find a reason you should do the work and not a reason you shouldn't do the work. Like, push yourself. Stop focusing on negativity. We all have it. Like I said, your friends, your family, everybody has stuff they're dealing with on a daily basis. The difference is they're just not telling you about it.
Right.
Right? I mean, I'm here. I will listen to anybody. Anybody wants to complain about their life and tell me how bad things are, like, I will always be there as that friend. I will always listen. But guess what? If you aren't willing to improve it yourself and you aren't willing to champion yourself, I'm going to stop. Right? As your boss, right?
Absolutely.
If you're not willing to work, if you're not willing to do it, I'm going to stop. I'm not going to help you be successful because I don't want to see you quit on yourself. It's not worth it. You need to be willing to succeed in your own. And then guess what? You will be surprised how many people want to back you.
Yep.
People want to back people who want to succeed. They don't care if you're winning or losing. Nobody cares about that. Trust me, an underdog story is the best story there is. People want to back the guy who shouldn't win, right?
Rudy,
right?
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns. No, I'm just kidding. But in all seriousness, like it's one of those things where like you want to back the people, the teams, the corporations, the whatever who are supposed to fail. Those are the people you want to see succeed. Because guess what? Then they're the people that get to stand up and say like, in your face, I did it. You suck. Don't tell me I can't do it. Like the worst thing you can do is challenge somebody who has drive. Simple as that. Like if you have drive and somebody challenges you, like you better hang on. But challenge somebody who doesn't care. They're going to fail every time. Oh yeah, they told me I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. Tell me I can't do it. Tell me one time I can't do it. Like I will keep going. I will go until I can't go anymore just to prove you wrong. So you have to find that success in yourself. You know, there's some personal info that I usually share with people, and I tell people. I lost my sister 11 years ago. Not a lot of people know that. You know, it's something I don't share openly a lot. But, you know, it would have been easy for me to focus on all the negatives around that and, you know, try to poor my, right? Mm-hmm. I could talk about that and make it about me, but it's not. I always tried to turn that into motivation to move forward every day. Like that's something that I changed my life 11 years ago is I turned it into an opportunity. I looked at it as, you know, people make excuses on why they cannot be better, but few people spend the time actually trying to be a better person. And I make mistakes. I'm human. I'm no different than anybody else. I'm not proud of everything I've ever done and everything I ever do, and probably will continue to make mistakes the rest of my life, right? But it goes for personality, professionally. It doesn't matter. Your business, you don't get better if all you do is the same thing every day and complain about the same thing every day. Like I have taken that experience I went through 11 years ago and turned it into live in the moment, live today, live for the future. Build yourself up, build your friends up, help people around you. I will help anybody around me that wants help. I will continue to pick them up. And that's what you have to do in your life. Like you have to remember that. Like stop making excuses and find solutions.
Yep.
Find reasons why things happen. I rolled a race car at the beginning of this year, right? Everybody would have, oh my God, my race car is, you know, it's destroyed. I can't race anymore. I raced the next Friday. I rebuilt the car from the ground up in 1 week and went and raced, and I won that next Friday. And the reason I did it wasn't for any other reason than myself, to prove I could do it. Not excuses. I'm not giving myself an excuse for why I shouldn't. I was going to prove that the solution was to work harder, right? And I did that. Everybody would have an excuse. Oh, my car's not fast anymore because I crashed it. Oh, my season's over because of this. Like, no, I just worked harder. Doesn't mean go out and spend a bunch of money. I'm not saying that you have to go spend a bunch of money. I did all myself. Did all the work myself. Very little money was spent that week. I was able to do a lot of it myself.
That's
and
awesome.
you work your ass off and you get things, right? That's how things work in life. Like stop making excuses, find a solution and go get it. How bad do you want it? You know, getting outside of the negative, you know, or the negativity takes work. Sometimes it means you have to walk away from negative things in your life and negative people and negative minds so you can find that positivity. Find the solutions. If all you do is hang out with people who don't find solutions, you're not going to ever find solutions. There's a phrase I love. If you hang out with 4 drug addicts every day, you're going to become the 5th. If you hang out with 4 millionaires every day, you're going to become the 5th.
Was that a JB quote?
That was not a JB quote. Not a JB on that one. But the choice is yours. Put the work in. Like you get to choose who you're going to hang out with. You get to choose your surroundings. You get to choose all that. Like at work, you get to choose. Am I going to work my ass off all day long and be tired at the end of the day? Or am I just going to kind of coast through the day and then be upset that I didn't get more out of it?
Just watch the clock.
Yeah, you got that. People who literally, oh man, I only got 3 hours left. Woo, almost there. Like my favorite is Friday. Friday is my day. I watch people. I see it all the time. I walk around this office all the time. I see it. Watch people's attitudes on a Friday. We made it. We got it. We're there. Time to go home. Right?
Yep.
But it's Friday. That's not the end of the week. The end of the week is 5 o'clock. Friday's another day to make sales. Friday's another day to build machines. Friday's another day to do whatever you're doing, right? Build cabinets, build signs. Friday's another day. If you work 4 out of 5 days, you're putting in 1/5 less work than your competition. Because your competition is working 5 days. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And at the end of the day, Friday, they're tired. But guess what? They got a full day's worth of work on you. Well, what does that mean? Every month they're getting a full week's worth of work more than you. Think about that for a second. If you take it easy on a Friday every week, your competition is getting 1 full week more worth of work, basically in a month.
That's crazy.
Right?
Adds up that quick.
Adds up that quick. Now think about it. You add that up over a whole year. They're getting you by a month. They're working a month more than you. Now what are you doing? Well, I don't know why they're so much better than me. Because they work harder than you. Stop making excuses, right?
Yep.
Like, what's your excuse today? That's what I want you to answer. Right now, anybody listening, I want you to ask yourself, what's your excuse today? I'm asking you right now. Say it out loud right now what your excuse is. And now listen to yourself answer it. Now, get past it and make the most out of this week. Like, that's what you need to do.
Sounds good to me.
Sound good?
Right. Pick the phone up. Give us a call. We'll help you get it done.
Yeah. ShopSabre.com.
Great. You can go there too.
Yeah, that's a good time.
Yep. Great time.
Good times. I think this is the point where we got to drop a beat. No, like I said, seriously though, I hope people listening, think about what we talked about today. Think about the excuses that they've made in their business, their lives, whatever it is. Figure out ways around it. Let's get better. Let's do this. Let's win. I like winning.
I like winning.
No one likes losing.
No one likes losing. God, I wish I had an
if you do, you need to check yourself.
What?
If you like losing, you need to check yourself.
Yeah, I wish I had one of those, like, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself.
I was just thinking
I wish I had
too.
that button on here, but I didn't have that, unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sure we'll have it by next week.
That's right.
We
Maybe
probably
if
will.
Garrett's back.
That's right.
Because I can't figure it out on my own. God knows I'm not going to be able to figure this out.
I think you've done pretty well so far.
Well, that's good, because I...
Other weaknesses? We're slow learners, and we're not particularly good listeners.
That's all I know. But I think that's it. That's all I got today, guys.
That was a great episode.
You guys ready to get back at it?
Back at it.
Oh, yeah. I got calls stacking up.
Well, I'm Brandon.
I'm Chad.
I'm Jesse.
Thanks for talking shop with ShopSabre.